The Yeti Radio, powered by DavidLeeImaging.com. David Lee Imaging in the Titletown Music Archive and the Live 365 app.
Can you dig it?
The Yeti.
Can you dig it?
The Yeti.
Can you dig it?
The Yeti. Welcome to the Backstage Lounge on the YetiRadio.com.
Don't fuck it up.
That's right. Welcome to the YetiRadio.com. It's the Backstage Lounge, and tonight we have a couple of members from Menace. Mary. Everybody else was out doing some other stuff and couldn't make it into the studio for the interview. One of them's already been here twice. The other two have not, and hopefully one day we'll get him in here. But we've got Mr. David Stone and Stanley Jupiter.
The Deech.
The Deech and the drummer. The new drummer.
Peachy Deech. Deech the Deech. Life's a Deech.
Big Deech. Wow. This is awesome. Because I hear you got some big news.
Well, we're always happy
Well,
to
lots
be
of
here.
news anyway.
Well,
Yes. You gotta talk into the mic, Dave.
we do. I'm not a singer.
Right?
Well, what has it been? 8 months?
Oh, at least.
Since we've been here? Yeah, a lot's happened. We played out for 6 months, did 28 shows, wore ourselves out, and then took a break, I would say, into October till we had a couple private events. We did a private show for a birthday for a concert promoter here in town. Some may know him as Brad Laughlin. Any of the old school rockers know Brad from back in the days when he worked with Danny Zelisko, and he was the guy that brought in all like the Megadeths and Metallicas before they were big, you know.
Okay.
But we did a private show with him, and we're looking at a big show in November, which anybody wants to get a hold of me, David Stone, be looking for some bands. Brad does a show where he does the jazz festival up there by Desert Ridge off the 101, and he usually has 20 to 30,000 people filter through that. And I started talking to him. He's like, Dave, why don't I keep all the it'll hold 20,000 people, and it's got the real stage. It's like you're doing a real concert, right? And he said when we were talking last, I'm gonna bring in a real arena, not, you know, I would say, what'd you say, like a good size one, like a, I keep saying, like a Nickelback or a
national
Kid Rock,
level
and national, not you know, somebody that's not known, but there's going to be opportunities for some local bands to get on that stage as well.
Nice.
Because it's going to go on for a few days. So, you know, reach out to you, reach out to me, either way.
Absolutely.
But we got that thing going, but we took a well-needed break. We did 28 shows, took a little bit of a break, and now we're kind of coming back into it. And, you know, I've been fortunate enough that all my contacts I had from before 30 years ago, now they seem to be somebody in it, you know, so they're helping us out a lot, and I'm really excited about what, you know, we're going to be doing in the studio, you know, with, well, I'll just say his name, John Aquilino, Platinum Underground. He, most might know him from Icon,
Right.
but, you know, I don't know if anybody's been perving Tommy's page, but every time they see Tommy in that studio with the giant console board, that's where he's at.
He's
you
at
know.
the underground.
Yeah.
Well, I know.
I'll keep the label this
We're
way.
missing some of this. That's right, until we have the endorsement deal.
Well,
The sponsorship deal, but, you know.
You brought some
Intent.
things to my attention that you want to try and involve me in, and I now have everything. It's all in that bag right over there.
Oh, you got a go bag, huh?
To do some remote stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're going to get, I mean, they've got a Facebook out there, Icon, and everybody's just itching. You just got to make that jaunt all the way on that side of town. You know,
I think it would be more than worth it.
yeah. So
Beyond worth it. But yeah, it's all set up. I'm on my second microphone for my phone already because I left the last one in my pocket and it got washed. So.
Oh, yeah, funny about that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I had some news about your thing I was supposed to pick up for you. It wasn't there.
Oh,
They couldn't find it, so. She did say the manager will be there tomorrow, though. So.
all right. Well, we'll try to get paid. And then other big announcement is this little Cuddy Bear here. He's
I'm the new guy.
He's the FNG.
He's not necessarily new, though. But,
No.
He comes from us, and I got to tell you, I didn't realize that Berkeley was just not a music school until we played. What was that word game we played over the house?
Catchphrase.
So I'm sitting there, and my wife decided to do fondue party. And John Aquilino from, the Icon Studio, his wife comes over, and we just have a great time. And his wife's like, oh, John's really good at this. So I invite him over. He comes over, and I was just like, oh, this guy, they must do something more at Berkeley than just teach them music, because the vocabulary, don't use any big words today.
No big words. I will do my best.
I know you have a plethora of big words. Hey, Pepe, do you have a plethora of big words?
A
for me?
plethora of big
Yeah.
words. Anti-disestablishmentarianism. It's the biggest one I know.
Not to mention the resume.
There is.
Oh.
Oh, man. Yeah, well.
Well, we got to talk. He's a total hooker. I didn't know you were playing that
And hooker.
gig.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him at this gig, and he's playing up on the stage. I'm like, that's my drummer.
They get so possessive.
Right?
But
It's all right. There's enough of me to go around. I'm
tell,
like peanut butter. I
tell
swear
him, fill in all the holes. I don't know them all.
I don't know. What kind of holes need filling there?
I want to know how you met.
Well, okay. Let's see. It actually started with a third party that guy named Billy, who was a guitar player in a band called Crawl Space.
Okay. I know Billy.
Through some associations.
Great
with
guitar
that,
player.
I was doing some fill-in things with him. He was good friends with Hector from Addicted.
Right.
And as you know, that's the other project that I've been involved with for some time. And through some associations there, Billy and I got connected. He was in an interim place where he had this show doing warm-up for LA Guns, but his project was beginning to, members going their separate ways and so forth. I talked him into keeping the date and saying, hey, I actually wanted him to do some guitar work on a solo project that I had been working on, but it turns out that I ended up, side manning for his project. So for about 6 weeks, we rehearsed his song set, and he had a connection with Tommy, guitar player, with Tommy Gibbons from Menace, Mary, not only to record a 3-song demo of some new material that he was working on that I was helping him with, but from there, utilizing the vocal talents of Anthony, Menace Mary's lead singer. So through that association, I ended up in Tommy's studio recording this demo, and then Tommy and I became fast friends, and he was very interested in having a solid drummer to take care of some session work now and then. I told him I do session work as well. So he's made a couple of calls to me saying, hey, I need a drummer to fill in for this, and as well as I do, some studio drum tech work too, tuning and running mics, and I know how to record drums, things like that. So I've been assisting him with a few things on that aspect. And by virtue of doing that, it was right during when Davey and the boys were having their break right around holidays, election season, things like
Right.
that their original drummer had departed the band, and so the timing just kind of fell right in the same place. They were looking for a drummer. I happened to be, working with Tommy on some session stuff at that time, and it was kind of ironic because at the time that they were considering wanting to audition for new drummers and were considering me, I actually had Davey on the phone the night that I came here to do the podcast with Addicted.
Right.
So I was on the phone
Total
with
whore.
Davey out in front.
That's why you ran me off.
That's why I was that's why I was running late that night, because I was he was on the phone, kind of giving me the rundown of what the Menace Mary thing was all about. So yeah, I was interested in doing the cover band thing and getting a little more into the performing scene. Addicted plays out a lot. We do shows. We've done, bike shows, and in the same vein, Menace Mary does the same kind of thing, but one's an original music project. This is more covers to start with the ambitions of moving into some originals that we've been working on as well.
Right.
And it just worked out. It's just a very very fast moving forward. Let's see how far this takes us kind of project. And of course, when you're in the music scene, you're always keen on where the opportunities lie to be able to keep advancing and getting things to the next level and helping each other. The whole community, really does that kind of stuff. So,
speaking of the community, and the reason why I asked you to make sure I had the name right, you and James
Beauchamp.
I was going to do it. Okay. Have really just, you're putting it out there. We can't hit all these places. And not a lot of people don't know a lot of these bands. Hell, I don't know, but it's cool that you guys are going out there doing your shots. And James, anybody's looking for a bass player, the guy's good. He needs to put a project together. He's trying to, but he really supports the scene, and so do you. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Very much appreciated. The fact that the local scene is still alive and well is in large part to shows like yours, the promoters out there that that keep things alive and keep rotating bands. I haven't seen the local Arizona music scene this active in quite a while, and it's nice to see that there's a lot of it there, and it's definitely thankful to folks like yourself that keep that motion going.
Okay, enough about you.
Yes.
Now about no.
I don't like it to be about me anyway.
No. So what's going on? I've got to tell you, when I formed the band, I got a video of Anthony in like June of 23. And I started putting the band together. Once I got him, if you haven't, you've seen Anthony. For the love of God.
I was there. I was at Kimmy's on the other side that night. You guys played, and Billy was there. And Billy was there. Yeah, Tatum. Yeah. Billy was there, and Billy was like, "I need that guy."
Yeah.
And I said, "Good luck."
Yeah,
he's the real deal, man.
Yeah, I can't say enough about him. Someday, hopefully we'll be rich and famous, and I'll put this video out of him auditioning for me. But the main thing that I set up with the band was, we're going to do covers, and we're going to do them well. And it's the same formula I've done in all my businesses. I've owned multiple bars. I've owned manufacturing. And you know what? When you surround yourself around the best people, I never claim to be the best, just the most persistent. Surround myself around the best people, and then, work together to get there. And, to see Anthony from the first time we played out, even me, I'm just now getting where I've been on my heels for a while. It's been 32 years since I played, right? Trying to get my guitar sound, trying to understand this technology. Because it's no longer a pedal with a switch and two knobs. It's a computer page, multiples of them to try to figure that. And it's been a huge learning curve. And then on top of it, learning this new music.
It's complex. It's not your standard, 1-3-5 jams anymore.
Yeah, it's you want me to do 80s all day long, brother. I'll play White Snake, Dokken all day long. This stuff, for the love of God, it's kept me on my heels. And of course, I have the worst timing in the whole group. Back me up. I'm good, right? I'm good. Tell me I'm good. That's positive. Well, don't do it.
You're working on it.
You've picked up practicing to the metronome, so there's credit where it's due there.
But let's get off my incompetence in that area. But no, Anthony, I've said this. This is our boot camp. It's our boot camp, and we're going out there, and I learned something from everybody, right? Like this weekend, we're teaming up with a group called Higher Creed on Friday night at the bike night on April 4th on the inside stage of the Roadhouse.
Yeah, a week from Friday.
It will literally be, you'll be like walking on heads through the place. But I went and saw Higher Creed, and they had an amazing light show with smoke, and I'm like, yeah, we need to step it up to that, because you've been to our shows. We got wall of stacks, a wall of bass amps, and then this guy's drum set up there.
Right.
You know, and
Big and bombastic, man. Big and bombastic.
Yeah, I mean, you know, but you know, the thing is to go. What I always tell people is when we play, it's a concert. It's not a show. And then I realized a big hole in our program was we didn't have the light show like these guys had. So you know, we'll bring that in. But again, I wanted to do about all the other bands. Everybody's busting my ass because why? I'm not playing all original, or a band isn't. And I'm like, well, Van Halen did it. Motley Crue did it, Nirvana did it. All those guys, they did covers until they got to the point to where they got a following and they started doing their own. And to go out there and for us to write 10 or 15 songs of all originals, nobody knows them. And I always tell people, I'm like, and I go, have you been driving down your road and all of a sudden you hear that new song in the radio? Whoa, who's that? Unless you got one, hopefully two of those, I don't think you should be doing all originals, but that's my opinion. We'll start filtering through what we're writing and put it out on the, run it past, what do you call it? The sniff test, right?
Yeah. Throw it in the set and see how well it blends.
See how it goes.
Throw it through the crowd and let the crowd decide.
Yeah.
But, no, we've accomplished every goal right now. I mean, I realize we're a product. We weren't getting paid too well. Now we're getting paid well. Now we're last time we played the 44, Nancy told us we had the biggest numbers they've had in there in a long time. We played Kimmy's. That place was so much
was crazy,
freaking
man.
fun.
That was a lot of fun.
That place is crazy.
That place was crazy.
Yeah, they shut the door down at like 9:30 because we had it packed.
For a small bar, it was jumping. It was hopping. It was hot in there. Yeah.
Definitely.
But we've accomplished all that. Now it's just the boot camp getting better, more professional, and it helps. Tommy in the band, he's played pro. He's been doing all the big gigs.
Right.
So we got him, and then, of course, this guy, he's got a lot of experience.
Oh.
I feel very fortunate to have, like I said, Anthony, if you have not, now I'm telling where's the camera? If you have not seen Anthony, his stage show, everything has just gone through the roof. And for those of us that are older, it's not like David Lee Roth up there. It's kind of like what would you say the mix?
It's still it's what it needs to be for the style of music we're playing.
Yeah.
And he knows how to engage the crowd. He knows how to get them up and rocking and moving. Between him and Tommy, just making sure that the energy level and the engagement with the crowd is there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Davey was saying, it's more than just us up there, being a glorified jukebox. It's actual performance experience. It's like being at a concert. Well, at least that's what we're trying to do with it.
You took me with you up to Cottonwood last year.
Yeah.
And, you were opening for Warrant, and that was insane.
Yeah.
I'm sure Warren walked out and went, you guys better be ready.
That
crowd was fired up and they wanted some more music. And
Warren. I know Ron Mason since Lynch Bob days.
Right.
And great guy. And I didn't get to see him before the show. They all have their all pattern, but we went out there, and I got to tell you, it went from like 50 people to I don't know. I've heard different numbers, but let's just say thousands out there. And, I had a lot of friends out there, and, our sound man, which is a 6th member of the band, George is with us everywhere. If we play a place and I don't like the PA, man, I'm paying him to haul it in. We're doing a show. I realize that we got to put our best foot forward, and that's how we've started to get our following. I mean, it blew my mind that last gig, and I looked out there, and it wasn't just one Menace Mary shirt. It's like a half a dozen or so more of that.
Seems to be more every time.
Yeah,
we got to get more product out there too, because they want it.
Yeah. But that show out there was pretty cool.
And
it's kind of funny. We went to go set up out there, and I guess because I'm 6'2" and look like a douchebag muscle guy, I guess, even though I'm not. But I'm just saying we're loading up there, and the stage monitor guy was in control of the stage, and he's run his mouth. He goes, what local band needs 4 stacks on stage, blah blah blah. And Jimmy Taff, I think you know who he is, right? he looks at me because he was a drummer of Surgical Steel at one point. Same thing with Randy Marchetti and Bob Mont. I know all these guys. He looks at me and goes, apparently they didn't see back in the day Surgical Steel or like my band. I had walls of amps. And the guy looked at me, and then by the second song, he was going, I came over to sign. He goes, I didn't realize you guys were that good. I'm like, well, thank you. But we're only doing covers. We want to get there, but, again, it's, more than just writing riffs, And, again, surrounded myself around the best, right? My singer, my other guitar player, of course, and Scotty, our bassist, is solid as day is long. He shows every time, does his thing, no problems. Yeah. I love that. And then, but Tommy's got that recording studio. So we've got a perfect storm right now. We can record, we can come up with ideas, we can record it, send it over to John. I mean, and Anthony and Tommy are just incredible at writing songs. I mean, it just blows me away how quickly.
Yeah, the ideas spill out real quickly.
Yeah,
yeah, they mesh really, really well together.
Yeah,
you can tell with just,
for sure.
Even in some of the little funny skits that they do just for general purpose, you can just tell how they are together. So I'm like, writing music with those two has got to be easy.
Yeah, I mean, they click. For me, it's bringing in. I'm still trying to wrap my head around this, which I say, new style of playing. 80s stuff is easy. Now it's this right hand, which is MF or the new stuff with the, what would you call it? It's not a gallop. It's not chunking. It's like gallop with a stutter with a trip and then back. It's not dun 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 dun. It's pretty damn difficult. And then once you get to playing it, then you got to program your rig to do it. Then you got to try to play with these guys.
You got to get your sound, and then you got to make it work with all them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's that whole shift out of what was the what used to be the 80s rocker stuff, as they called it, and up through the 90s when it went to more grunge oriented. That got a little more groove swing kind of jam band sort of sound, and then from there moving into nu metal stuff. Starting in the late 90s and up through the early 2000s. When the sound evolved even more and became more intricate in a matter of speaking. So for those that grew up in that era, they're normal and natural to it. For those that, like Davey and even myself in some respects that, had to learn this because it wasn't what we grew, where we grew up with it at the time in our little Overton window of musical experience. But yeah, it's
evolution.
It's a different style, yeah.
Yeah.
But it happens to be the thing that for that market that is out in the bars, that's out in enjoying nights out now, and wants to enjoy that kind of music and reminisce about what was hot and popular when they were teenagers and young adults and that kind of thing. That's the kind of music that they resonate with, and that's really right. That's Menace Mary's sweet spot.
Well, when you were at Lucy's Sage and Sand, that night, for me it was interesting because I'm the guy that stands in the crowd and just pays attention to different things and notice when things change. Now, usually, when there's somebody playing, the back of it's an outdoor venue, but the back area is usually where people are having their conversations, and the band is just the background music for them having their conversations or meetings or whatever they're doing.
Especially when they're a cover band at that.
Yeah.
Well, yes, especially that. But that night with you guys in Burn Bridges, the whole place was responding to the stage all the way back to the bar, which is it's not a bad thing when they don't. It's a great thing when they do.
Yeah,
because you got their attention.
And that is one thing that we've been noticing with these shows. And again, I see that as a good sign. I always say I've got the best seat in the house, because I see the whole stage, I see the entire crowd, and there's a lot of times when we're playing, and I'll do the same thing you do. I'll just observe what's going on in the crowd, and sometimes I will. You always love to see that look on people's faces where they are pleasantly surprised, almost astonished, but in a good way, that they go, holy crap, these guys are, the real deal. Like, we're being entertained and we really enjoy it.
Absolutely.
And it's a very satisfying feeling.
I think I pissed off a few people on Facebook because I'd said Menace Mary doing songs that most can't, and a couple of pushbacks from some saying, hey, that's not true. And they're right. They're right. There's a lot of guitar players, singers, and everything can do this material. And when I should maybe tell your crowd, we're doing Pantera, we're doing Metallica, we're doing Megadeth, we're doing Godsmack, we are doing, who's some of the other ones? They're Disturbed. And then we started doing, and I had fought this tooth and nail to do, what's that song, Bodies?
Drowning Pool.
Drowning Pool.
Oh my God! I was fighting it. We played that, and the whole bar looked like it's full of chimpanzees in a zoo going crazy.
Their eyes lit right up. They couldn't believe they were actually hearing the band playing it. Pulling it off. Even,
yeah,
right.
Because I feel confident that we do a pretty good version of it. Yeah. And it's one of those things. Again, that sort of shock and awe, but in a good way from a crowd going, oh my God! It's almost as if they've never heard a band attempt that before or do that.
Yeah.
And,
right.
I mean,
I don't even think since what happened with the lead singer, I don't even think they've done it as good.
Oh, Pantera?
No,
Drowning Pool.
Yeah,
since the original singer had died. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they passed away like right after their first record. And
I don't think anybody has done what they did with it, and even and nothing away, taking nothing away from the original band, but you replace the singer. It's, to me, that's detrimental.
Yeah.
And there was a conversation today, it was on Facebook, about that. And, for me, if you start out and you have your original band members, you lose somebody, I think you should start over with one with a new name.
Yeah,
because
it's tough for a lot of bands to build an identity around that. I mean, when you think that bands like Alice in Chains or even Van Halen back in the day, I mean, when David Lee Roth took off and they brought in Sammy, a lot of people called it Van Hagar for the longest time, and oddly enough, with Sammy, the band was a lot more successful from a number one album, number one single, and overall sales perspective than they were with David Lee Roth. But of course, the purists are always going to say that's Van Halen.
Well, and it was, but it's
we won't even talk about guys like Gary Cherone or some of the others that attempted.
Not
that Gary Cherone is believe me, Cherone, believe me, no shade on him. That guy is like a fantastic frontman. He was caught in a bad situation with Van Halen that they were just in a tough place at that time, and the fit didn't work out like it should have. But he made his comeback with his old band Extreme, and those guys are fucking killing it too. Their new album 6, oh my God, fucking crazy. It's amazingly good, and of course, Nuno is the new Eddie now. Everybody's calling him the new Eddie.
He's just plugging straight into an amp. That's all hands there. I mean, the guy's impressive. But back to the original thing.
Did we tangent? Did we go tangential?
So we're I tell people when I'm explaining to them, because every band's the best band in the world. When you play in my band, blah, blah. And you know what? I like that when people are like that. You got to believe in what you're doing, even when no one else does. I've been delusional like that on times, but other times I've been right, But when we say, the coolest thing was ever said to me is I had a couple managers out there at that show at Cottonwood when we opened for Warrant, and some people that I knew that were in the business, and they came up to me, and my one buddy Danny goes, dude, I was sitting there it was cool just listening to everybody. They were going, yeah, we just saw Korn, and these guys sound better. That was cool. But, I try to tell people, when we play the song, it's not we kind of sound like it, sort of. No, we nail it. And, to play everything from Pantera to Alice in Chains, between Tommy and I, we've got it covered. He's got the shred master stuff. I'm more the more melodic stuff, which I'm learning what he's doing, which is cool. Another step in it. But, we're getting that music down, and, We changed up our song list. We've actually removed some music. We found that, like we were playing Megadeth. Here I love playing Megadeth, right?
Yeah. Good
Look at
band.
the crowd.
Still lots of we want to do.
Yeah, it's dude music. Girls are looking around at each other and they go to get a drink and go to the bathroom. So we're trying to tailor it so we can go on stage, pull a crowd, keep them, and we keep them there all the way to the last song.
Engage the audience and keep them interested.
Yeah. And then we start writing our own stuff, start bringing it in. But in the meantime, I got to tell any of these bands out there playing, those are the pros. Play like a pro. Play the pros' music. You'll write like a pro. It's real easy for me to go out there and chunk bar chords, but to write like these guys and the newer stuff, that's tough. And that takes a little bit of time. I was telling another friend of mine, I'm like, back in the day in the 80s and 90s, I'm driving around, my car was on the radio, I had a stereo on the thing, listening to it every day. Then I'd go into my business, the back area where all the guys are working, they'd have all KUPD on the radio, and they'd have all the different, you heard it constantly. Now I'm driving, like, turn down the radio, I can't see where I'm going. I don't listen to it as much as you know what I mean?
Yeah. Looking for directions, you got to turn the radio. I never did understand that, but we all do it.
Yeah, we all do. But it's just been a growth process, and we're hitting it. We had a little blip from, like mid-October to, I think we're still blipping around February, right?
Yeah, coming through mid-January into February, we're still getting our sea legs back.
Yeah. Jellin getting in that thing. He's bringing in new technology, which is pissing me off. The in-ear stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. We'll get you converted. We'll get you there.
I don't have all those stacks on stage because I need in-ears, okay?
No.
Anthony our singer needs them so he doesn't have to hear me.
Right.
But,
yeah, but see, as soon as you step away from those stacks.
Anyway.
Technically, the stacks aren't for you. The stacks are for those of us
debate.
watching and listening.
I'm going to tell you. I love sharing with everybody how we came so far so quick. I know the original bands are going to, discount that we're doing covers. But there's no denying. I got one of the baddest ass guitar players on the other side of the stage. He's been number one on Spotify, I think it was, or
Yeah,
he's got awards for that. The guy's toured. He's that 10-year-old Asian kid on YouTube that can play everything that you're like, I'm not playing anymore.
He just posted that tour that he went on with Tantric 10 years ago. He just made the post about it. It's like, man, I can't believe it's been 10 years.
And what's funny is I didn't have to sell him on the project. He understood. And now what it's done is opened all these doors because I was parading producers and managers in front of us. And, I used the boy band idea. And they're like, what do you mean boy band? I go, well, NSYNC wasn't 5 or 4 guys that wrote really good music, sang great, danced really well. It was a manager, producer, a songwriter, and a choreographer. And so thankfully I still have all those relationships for all those people to help us. And 2 was trying to figure out what is our music going to sound like. I don't even think we even know yet.
No, I think we're still exploring that, but you do make a good point that you really got to have a team around you to do that. It's more than just being It's more than just being really good musicians. It's more than just having the talent to do it. Because talent is maybe 1/3 of the formula.
Right.
There's still the fact that the band has to be able to actually live and survive and deal with each other. So there's that whole relationship dynamic. But then on top of that is the idea you've got to have a team that backs you up. You got to have outside support, at least to some extent. Even as independent as artists want to get with doing things on the internet on their own and getting things out there, at some point getting to the next level means working with folks that understand the business, have the relationship out there, and can help get you to that next stage.
My question is, for all the other instruments, I see it and I get it, and it's probably less difficult. Mm-hmm. But for Anthony, you sing like all the covers that you play now, and that gets ingrained, and then you start doing originals, and then how tough is that on him to break away from that groove and get his own,
I don't know
his
if
own voice per se.
I don't know if it's so much breaking away. I do think that Anthony does have his own voice. I've heard enough of the original content and enough of the demos to know that he is in the process of really honing and defining his own voice.
Okay.
He definitely has it. I think where his real skill is he can break away from his own voice to do every other voice.
Right.
And he has a really good skill set
both
for that.
directions.
Right.
Okay.
So his ability to actually do things on his own, that's kind of where we're at right now in putting together all of the original material, is being able to really hone in, how does Anthony's originality and original voice work with the music that Menace Mary is putting together and writing, and how do we make that a part of our whole motif? And that's kind of right where we're at in the process right now, is building that part up so that we can start interjecting that into the known catalog of stuff, which is the covers.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where the producer comes in.
Right.
And I don't just have any producer.
No, you do.
Right? And I got to tell you, he hasn't seen it yet. And you'll see it when you go over an interview. If you've ever been in a studio, for the love of God, it is several stories. You've seen the mixing board. It's
Yes.
I think there's only
the
two of those in the world.
there's only
The
two of them
largest
around anymore.
mixing analog. The guys, it's a plethora of knowledge. And I mean, he's got the biggest boys in the rock world in his place. I mean, wait a minute, he's over there. I'm like, I want to come. I want to go over there, But that's where we're looking at is, we got all the parts of the puzzle, and now we get in with the producer, and he's going to bring that out of us.
Right.
It's, it's kind of funny. The best song we've written on our own, which was months back, was at Anthony and Tommy screwing around. It's an emo song. It's a freaking hit, but that's not us. They were
Right.
just messing around. But getting in there with a producer that can take and orchestrate, through how we're going to get there. There's also too, you can get the music, but how are you getting out there? So
Right.
I'm, my background, I told these guys, I may have 100 things going, and all 100 of them aren't going to happen. Maybe one of them does, but I don't go report these guys. We all remember when we were in bands when we were younger. It's like, okay, my friend's friend from a friend who knows this, his cousin's brother is this person. I go through, I make all the calls. I'm on the phone about 2 to 3 hours a day, and I'm making calls, reaching out to my mutual acquaintances and stuff like that. Like, I've owned several bars, so I reached out to the liquor companies, and I found a vodka company that was interested in doing a joint thing with us, along with co-sponsoring some of the bigger festivals. I mean, think about it. We show up at a show, and I got somebody that's going to pay for us to play and everything like that, and on top of it, be a co-sponsor for the show. So you got to think outside the box. I still have not figured out how you make it big in music right now. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can't even tell you how to make it big doing a vodcast or radio show or whatever you want to call this.
midgets always will
Yeah,
get
there you
attention.
go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and maybe that stripper pole that I was on at that photo shoot, maybe I should bring that in here. And
Yes.
And where there's a freak,
Well, no, it's funny. I got the mannequin and put an older costume on the mannequin to have in here. But I also got it so that when I get a new costume out, I have something to put it on so I can groom it. Because when they come, they're inside out. So you have to turn them inside right. And then they're all bunched up and yucky. And I was doing the show the other day, and I turned around and I said something to him, and then I hit the growl effect. You can't hear it. And so we sat here and had a conversation just to be weird and funny about it. But, yeah. I know trying to get people's attention and trying to,
Well, it takes time. It takes time and persistence, and you start with one turns into three turns into eight turns into 20. And
Well, it's just the thing. I think that people. I mean, I bring it from my business background. We're trying to earn everybody's business.
absolutely.
I mean,
Well, you're number 78.
oh, well, thank you.
78 on what?
78th interview.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right. Congratulations.
In 3 years. So
This guy's too busy. He's back there on the drums. You know,
Yeah.
the drum player. Though Kerry did help you haul your drums last time.
I know, it's so nice to have some help once in a while. So you got to remember to thank her.
I'm like, all right, I got 4 stacks. I'm buying, you know. He's back there. But
See, guys, I'm tired. I'm going to take a nap. I'm like, okay.
No,
I'll take my nap later.
you know, I'm always going out there and talking to everybody. You know, I
To tell you the truth, I'd much rather have you out there rubbing elbows and helping me with drums, because that's not something that I personally think I'd be good at. And I think everyone in the band has a unique skill set that contributes in a major way to the project.
Yeah.
You know, without having a whole lot of overlapping skills, but enough that, you know, everybody does the job they need to do and has a unique role in that. And that's actually a very good thing. You know, because
I mean,
you know, you're able to pick up the you know, where the rest of us maybe, you know, aren't as comfortable or aren't as skilled in doing that, and you know, likewise in areas
timing
where,
and all, you're more skilled in that.
Yeah, in areas where, you know, there's other skill sets, it really helps back each other up and becomes a full package that way.
Full pack, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, studio player can play to a click, which sounds easy. It's not.
It's really surprising and almost disappointing how many drummers cannot play to a metronome. But, and again, no shade on drummers that don't. I mean, you know, there's tons of #1 hit records that were never played to a click or a metronome, and drummers that, you know, claim that they don't have feel or whatever. And okay, if that's your jam, then so be it. But
what song do we play that has like the timing's all over? Is it
pretty much anything Pearl Jam or anything Alice in Chains, because
yeah,
all of that was just done as feel live stuff. Some Nirvana stuff was that way too. Yeah. Although Dave Grohl was pretty solid in his own right, you know, just from a timing standpoint. So he was never too far off the click, you know, off of what would be considered a click. But I mean, you know, the interesting thing though is nowadays in the days of YouTube, with a lot of people doing everything from guitar covers and drum covers and all that, you know, if you're going to be playing to that music, you have to be able to play to whatever's there. So in essence, even if the timing isn't exactly to a click, you're playing to what that drummer and what the rest of that band was playing to. So you do have to be disciplined to stay on track with that. And I think today's younger drummers are a lot more cognizant of that. Yeah. A lot of new music just in the last 10 years is almost all worked out to some kind of click, and a lot of bands are using backing tracks now. And, you know, whether it's keyboard parts or backing vocals or extra parts where, you know, where you got to fill in to kind of fatten up the sound because the production was originally that way. A lot of bands are doing that these days, and so, you know, you have drummers and musicians, the whole band for that matter, that has a click track or a backing track in their ears, and they all have to be spot on. I mean, so, you know, there's a couple different schools of thought on that. It really just comes down to, in today's day and age, with the structure of the way the music industry is and the way production is, musicians have had to learn to be able to lock in to do that in order to function in today's market with the way music is. You know, it's tough to kind of, you know, just wing it without a backing track. But for those drummers that can do both, you know, or musicians for that matter, just, you know, whether it's guitar players, singers, bass, whatever, you know, being able to utilize both ends of the spectrum, you know, it's just you know, value-added benefit to whoever you're playing with.
Well, just from personal experience in seeing the band, the energy that's put out by, one, the way everybody's playing, but then Tommy and Anthony. I'm like, Anthony must sleep for 2 days after the show because he's probably got like zero energy left.
No, you know, it's kind of funny. What is that song by Velvet Revolver? Fall to Pieces.
Oh, Fall to Pieces.
And you see the guy, you know, just getting carried. I'm not kidding you. I've seen that kid literally walk off stage, sit down against a wall, and when I say
collapse,
soaking wet.
Yeah.
Soaking wet. He gets into, I mean, he comes in and everybody's like, oh, your singer can't. No, he comes in 5-10 minutes before a show, gathers himself, and he goes up there and it is just, that's what I'm saying about the boot camp, about playing out.
Full engagement.
Full engagement.
Yeah. Turn up to 11, 110% the entire night from opening number to closing number, and that's it's interesting you state that, because it's always been a theory of mine that it doesn't matter if there's 2 people, 20 people, or 20,000. I'm always going to play to a crowd as if they're 20,000.
Right.
You got to play to the crowd as if you are playing that big thing, because even the 2 or 20 people that came to see you and do that, they deserve that kind of show every single time. And the fact that Anthony, Tommy, even Scotty, and you've been getting up there, and just the engagement of it is the idea that.
Well, I got no shortage of stage time. None of us do, but it's just like, I mean, first of all, if I had that amount of hair, I could do that too. But instead, I got ears, and then you look over, and these son of a bitches are doing windmills, and I'm like, oh. So I resorted to what's his Tremonti?
Yeah, but they're going to need next. Yeah, Tremonti, Mark Tremonti.
I just do the. Yeah. Just do, and it works. But we even do. I mean, like some of the things I see a lot of these bands do. They show up, they play through whatever. Like we played the Blues Bar, packed that place out. We brought our own PA. Right. I was surprised. We had 14 people reserve tables at the freaking Blues Bar. I'm like, wow. That's cool. Made me feel good. But like our sound, I mean, Tommy and I mean, I'll be perfectly frank, there's no shortage. Anything this band needs, we get it. Tommy's run a Fractal. I don't know if you know what that is. It's a modeler. It's the big boy ones. We played through the same shit that Metallica, Avenged Sevenfold, I could go, even Volbeat, I think, was playing through. And we played through all the top line gear, right? We have top line guitars. And then too, when my sound is different than Tommy's. Mm-hmm. Mine has a scoop in the center. Tommy's is more mid. So we fill out the whole spectrum of it. And then we work with the same sound man. I haven't worked with him in 30-something years, but he gets me. I'm all big. He loves it because I'm all up. You get a damn good drum and kick sound, that's huge.
Yeah. And good mix out front really helps sell the crowd engagement too. Yeah. So you really need both parts of the recipe on that. Yeah. Think about it like making a cake. You need good ingredients and you need good chef. So the good ingredients are, the equipment and the people that can operate it, and then the good chef is putting out the best performance possible. Yeah. You gotta make that cake great.
Yeah, we don't. Another thing we do. You ever notice we don't have mics everywhere? Right. Bass. We run. Scotty runs 2 Harkey bass stacks. I run 2 stacks. Tommy runs 2 stacks. But we have live on stage for us, because that natural, get the hair on the back. There's some about 16, 12-inch speakers moving at the same time. It's not necessarily the volume, though I like the volume, but I'm just saying when you're going whomp whomp and you feel it just hit you, and then there's no feedback. So we've only got we got 2 mics up front, and of course he's running Aero mics on his butt. I mean, geez, but he's top line equipment, and it all matters. And when I go see a band and I could hear them playing all the parts right, and it sounds like snare and hi-hat, like somebody's beating on a trash can lid, and I hear them doing all the right parts, they got robbed. Robbed. I mean, like, for instance, Burnt Bridges. They came and played for us one time. Great fun. Well, they played with the other place, which Sage and Sand was a little tough. It's cold, rainy, all that stuff. But Burnt Bridges. It
was a tougher day.
You put those guys out, and we had them through a good mix. I mean, it's like that little button after you got so many points on a video game that's got the booster. It adds to that. When you're sitting there, I'll run out a chord, at the end of the song and just let it run out. And the whole room has got this vibrate. It sounds that's part of that energy too.
Awesome. What if you don't mind me bringing it up? Kimmy's on Greenway. We had a band that in fact, not a lot of people actually probably know about. Band of Fools.
Really, really good band. Oh my God, they were
These guys, holy shit, young kids. Ran into them at up in Cave Creek, just starting to play. Okay. And I'm kind of a conduit. I used to be partners with Mark up there, the Hideaway and all that stuff that owns it now. And when we decided to play out, I'm like, we're going to play here our first time. And I remember the manager going, you guys need to turn down after the second song. They're like, yes. And now that's our home base. We can play there all the time. But Band of Fools, they came, they opened for us, and I got them. They're playing up there all the time. But when they came and opened for us, I mean, top-notch group. I mean, guitar players.
Great kids. Great guys, yeah.
Guitar player up there plugged into he's like Nuno, just plugs into old 70s like Marshall head 212, and he plays through a Les Paul. Nothing fancy, and the kid is...
He splits it open, man, that kid.
Yeah. Singer hits...
Oh, yeah. Singer's really, amazingly good. And their style is, how do I explain it? It's sort of a Stevie Ray Vaughan gone more hard rock.
Yeah.
Just a really, really cool Southern rock vibe, that 70s-ish Southern rock vibe. And, they even look the part. Great stage presence.
Great
and
band.
just very enthusiastic, positive, group of guys. It's just really pleasant.
Anytime I see a guitar player just plug in a freaking amp and just wail like that, I mean, I'm sorry, I can't.
And to make it look so easy now, he makes it look easy. That's the other thing too. I've noticed that it's kind of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pull this riff off.
Yeah, he came over.
He made it look effortless.
Yeah, he came over the house because I got all the cool equipment. He's playing. I'm like, yeah, I'll just let you play. I'm excited for those kids and some of my faves. Burnt Bridges, love those guys.
Burnt Bridges, those guys. Man.
And then
that whole band, they've got another unique vibe too. That's
really Dell just, even that guitar player, he freaking I look at all this and go,
guy that makes it look effortless.
Yeah,
right?
well, effortless and sound really good. Just really well-rounded. Favorite guitar player, other than this kid, he's become kind of like my new fave. But Christian, Sectus, great band. They opened for us one night, and dude, they
Sectus,
brought in like 40, 50 fucking people, and they stayed there the whole night. It was awesome.
Yeah,
that's
a band that's truly pro. I mean, it's just a matter of time, and they're gonna find their whatever next level thing that gets them into the big leagues.
Yeah, he's got that Zach Wild feel, and I like that. That's from my time, but
great people.
Oh, well, yeah. On top of it, really good people,
great guys. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome
trying to
people
think
to
who
be
else
around.
I saw. Oh, Everest. Have you seen them?
Yes.
They're in that new metal thing, and I remember I saw them at the Marquee. They were opening for. I was going to see some band, and they were opening for them, and I'm like, these guys are good. And funny enough, I saw Jason, the guitar player, up by the bar where I'm hanging out, and I told him, and we became fast friends. They opened up for us one time at the Rock Store, and I think up in Cave Creek. It's just, really talented. They've got a new girl singer that's freaking awesome. They're just trying to find their traction. You know how it is. I mean, I tell people all the time, and I did it back in the 80s, and for lack of better words, maybe it's me now, but, I could take some guys with great attitude that are hungry, that don't have egos, right? On a 7 out of 10 in abilities, we'll get them to a 9. Right? Not a 10 maybe, but a 9. If they work hard, they're good. But a person that's a 7 out of 10, you can't ever get that person, their attitude, how they are as a person, to a 9. They're just that way. So when you're structuring these bands, you got to be able to get along with them. Of course, do we fight? I mean, not really. It's more passive aggressive, pouting, but we get through it. We work through it. You know what I mean? It sometimes I keep saying it over and over again. It's communication. It's communication. But the only ace I have in my pocket is I pulled some shit off with this band. I can't think. I'm grateful that I have everyone in my band. I've done everything I've ever done to be successful in all my companies. Anything I ever did, I surround myself around the best people. I got the best drummer. I got the best singer. I got the best other guitar player. And you know what? My bass player, he was a guitar player. Now he's playing bass. He's got the best goddamn attitude, and he's working freaking hard. And that's enables me to now push forward. Because when I parade all these managers and producers around, they see what the talent is, and I'm like, what can you do with it? And they like that. You know, hence the
I don't care what your job is, as long as you and your team work hard together.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody has to be excellent.
You know,
but together, if you're all working hard,
much
you
stronger.
all look excellent.
You know, attitude's everything. You know, the way I look at it, you know, I mean, you know, when you're on a team, in a band, or management, or anything on, you know, work, business, whatever it is, you know, you got to kind of, you know, you got a team. And you can't go forward unless the guy that fell down at one knee, you go back and, hey, let's get you up. Let's surround you. Let's see what we can put into you, because, you know, it just doesn't make sense to invest time in new people and build new relationships, but also to sit there, you build that relationship, makes people work harder. You know, I say it all the time. We all have greatness in us. You know?
Well, let's take a quick break, and we'll play this video that you have for
That's
us.
a phone.
Yeah.
Phone video, and
Yes.
I think my cord had pulled out of my stack, so Tommy started playing my part first, and then I did it.
Well, I know the other night, Scotty couldn't be there because he had something happen, and he was taking care of that. And Tommy played bass.
I know.
And you had to cover all the Tommy stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is going to be fun.
4 or 5 I'm like, you know what? Just hit the wall, pedal, and you'll be fine.
Here is Menace Mary performing a cover of Korn's Blind right here on the Yeti Radio in the Backstage Lounge.
more for you.
Can you dig it?
The Yeti.
Can you dig it?
Yeti.
Can you dig it?
The Yeti.
We're back in the studio with David Stone and Stanley Jupiter.
The Deech!
The Deech.
I don't know why we call you Peach. I don't get it.
Peachy Deechy.
That's right.
Oh man. So what else coming up next? Anything? What shows you get? I know you're going to be up at the.
Yeah, next set of shows will be a week from Friday. We're going to be at the Roadhouse April 4th and 5th, 2 nights. First night with Higher Creed.
Higher Creed.
And then
Have you seen them as a tribute band?
No, but I've heard, and oh Lord.
yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, quite a show. So I mean, we're really expecting that to be an event. And then Saturday night, who's with us on Saturday? I don't remember.
To get you the name of the and AJ is the bass player for him. A wonderful person. And they are a Rage Against the Machine called Rage Against the Empire. Seen some stuff by them. They're going to be Saturday night. I mean, we're doing stage extensions there, and this is in premise to something next year for Bike Week that I'm putting together with a concert promoter for next year. We want to do it up there in conjunction with Roadhouse. We just got to find the land, which is behind the Roadhouse, and see if we can get some permits and stuff. But, right now, everybody's going to be going out to Bike Week, which, I love going out to Bike Week. Some people don't like the cost or the 2-mile walk to get to it or whatever it may be. But they got some great entertainment out there, but we got to compete against them. So we got Mudvayne one night and Five Finger Death Punch the next.
Actually, Five Finger dropped out. It's
that's-
now
yeah.
it's
Marilyn
now
Manson.
Marilyn
Manson.
Manson. Yeah, Marilyn Manson.
Somebody in Five Finger had something happen with a family member,
Yeah,
and they
family
dropped out.
thing.
So
Yeah.
But that's right, did that. So we've got our work cut out for us. But I got to tell you, we played it last year, and we were up against some, what was it, Godsmack last year or something? I can't remember. We were pretty formidable people, but sometimes people don't want to go all the way out of town. But I mean, it was packed.
No, everywhere. I think for Bike Week last year was just everywhere.
We can assure you, if you miss the Marilyn Manson show, you won't be disappointed coming to the Menace Mary show.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of new tunes. A lot of new
Guaranteed.
tunes. What about 6, 8 of them?
Yeah, 6 or 8 new things from what the old set was, and constantly evolving. We're actually adding more and more each time. We'll add a couple, 3 more every other show or so. There'll be something fresh in there.
Yeah, Pantera will be playing Cowboys from Hell. We already do Walk. Probably should bring back Cemetery Gates. It just kind of slowed things down a little bit.
Yeah. It all depends on what the crowd wants.
We're doing we're doing some Puddle of Mud. We're doing some
Papa Roach.
Papa Roach.
Papa Roach stuff.
Last Resort. Who's that by?
Papa Roach.
Papa Roach.
Yeah.
It embodies.
That's the Drowning Pool tune that we've added.
Forget what else because I'm getting old. But yeah.
Yeah.
Thank God for set list.
There's plenty of fresh stuff coming. Yeah, we're we're thinking about adding another Slipknot tune. We're going to be adding maybe another Avenged Sevenfold tune as well. Just
blows me away. People
just testing testing stuff, just see, what does the crowd respond to? What do they like? What do they not like? And try to make sure that we're putting on the best show possible for them. Make it worth their while to come out and see us.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You
do that.
Slipknot blows me away. I mean, literally, the crowd sings louder than the song. We're playing on stage with all this, and you could hear them through everything. And so it's kind of cool that, I started thinking about, though, that was 2005, 4.
Yeah.
So, the demographics of those bars, which he figured out for me. I knew what it was, but he put a number, 35.
Say 15 to 30. People who grew up with music between the ages of 15 and 35 is generally, or 15 and 25, that 10 to 15 year span. Whatever music was influential to your age at that time, between the ages of 15 and 25 or 30, generally is the stuff that sticks with you as you get older.
Yes.
And so, as the theory goes, those who are 15 to 25 or 30, when they really were connecting with the music of that time frame, as they get older, and now they're 40, 45, where their kids are a little older, they can be with sitters, they're now making a little more money because they've advanced in their careers, but they're still young enough that maybe them and the wife or them and the girlfriend want to go out to the bar and, you know,
Go
be
party.
a little nostalgic, a little reminiscent.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you know, the thing that they gravitate to the most is what is the music that was hot when they were, well, between 15 and 25, which, you know, for right now in our current time frame would be all of that music from, say, 96 to 2006. You know, somewhere.
I'm not
in
going to
there.
give my time frame. That'll tell you how old I am.
So, well, yeah, I'm sure between the three of us here, we were all, you know, familiar with, you know, early Van Halen and Poison and early Guns N' Roses and,
Oh yeah.
you know, maybe even a little Led Zeppelin and, you know.
Well, you know, I've owned enough bars to know that, you know, and I'm 60, right? So let's just get that out of the way. I'm from the 80s. I love the 80s. I love the 80s. But what's happening, though, is, you know, most of that crowd's that 50 to 70 mark. You know what I mean? They're not out there drinking and closing the bars all the way down every night.
No.
You know what I mean? So you got to, you know, that crowd's a little bit, you know, younger. I'm seeing, and I love all the 80s tribute bands. That's freaking cool. But what's happening is the crowd, like AC/DC, love those guys. They're aging out now. Metallica set in, you know, and who knows how long they'll carry that torch. But we're finding that music, and then we change it. Like I said, I think we're going to be playing Megadeth for this because the bikers really like the Megadeth. But we're playing Sweating Bullets, and we were playing before, and people are like doing bathroom breaks and stuff like that. So we pulled that one back, and then we put in something else. We got to keep the crowd engaged. And when they come see us, I mean, if we do one set, it's going to be a 2.5 hour set, and they're there all the way to that. I mean, the last gig, Kimmy's, everyone we play, all the way to the last song. If it's at 1 o'clock, they're there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were at capacity all night, turning people away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I mean, hell, our
That's
first,
crazy.
yeah, our first show, when he wasn't with us yet, our first show had over 250 people. They had to bring in more
Kegs of beer and drinks.
Bartenders couldn't keep up with them up the Roadhouse, and that's a pretty
Right.
big place, you know. So, you know, I just promise that people come out. We're gonna have a great show. Hang with us through this year. Let us write some of our stuff, you know, and I have a good idea where it's gonna be, rock wise and hard rock wise. Where it's gonna be, it's just trying to write that Bon Jovi, and I hate saying, not that I want to sound like Bon Jovi, and I hate saying Nickelback, but I like Nickelback. But when you can sing every word of the damn song, or you sing it the next day, you wake up, that's the ticket. And that's the reason why country's blowing up, and they're starting to do a little bit of rock and doing a little bit. It's because you can sing every word, then guess what? It's going to catch a certain group of people.
It's got a
They'll be
hook.
doing, yeah.
They're hooked, and it's done. It's over with. Mm-hmm. It's all over except the crying.
Yep.
But no, it's awesome. Like I said, just the pure energy that flows off the stage with you guys is just phenomenal and just good to see.
Yeah.
Because I think I don't know if it's monotonous or mundane at some point for some bands. Because it's the same thing all the time. I would lose my mind.
Yeah.
You know, but when you can mix it up a little bit and change out some songs here and there, and
Well, I think we actually enjoy what we're playing too. I
Oh,
mean,
yes.
you know, even though Davey's from the 80s and locked into music from there, there's no doubt that we're enjoying the music of the era that we are playing, and I think really when it comes down to it, we're just musicians who are in love with the fact of music and performing. It's just in our blood. It's what we do. It's what we love to do, and you know, there's always that give and take, that engagement with the audience.
The energy, yeah.
So yeah, and I think that's something that the five of us really feed off of, love to give to an audience and love to receive from an audience is that energy and that back and forth, and you know, that's probably that little extra
It's
icing on top that
it's
helps
the greatest
make,
thing, yeah.
Yeah, it gets a band from good to great,
You know.
and that's where we hope to be.
Put all that, I said it before in the first one, I go, for me, to be able to put that energy out there and get it back. You know, nobody likes playing to an empty house. Nobody likes having people just stare at them, you know.
right.
And I feel,
and we're having fun on stage too.
Yeah,
We're having
yeah.
a hell of a lot of fun on stage.
Yeah,
Like, we're having just as much fun on stage performing the songs as the crowd seems to be having when they're out there enjoying what we're doing. So,
yeah, I mean, just engagement, though.
Yeah.
I mean, to go and see, and it puts a smile on my face because we're going out, and it's really cool to go out and see people coming up and know you and talk to you and just are real big fans of the band. And if we can keep that energy going into our own music, that's the trick. And we'll get there. Just if it was easy, we'd all be millionaires and rock stars, wouldn't we?
Right.
Look, if the crowd's going home and husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, they're looking at each other going, holy crap, I'm so glad we went out tonight. That was a great night. Yeah. Then we feel like we've done our job.
Yeah, I remember we had our first fan. She was all coming every show, and now I'm going to say there's probably about 20 of them. And they're telling their friends and their neighbors and stuff like that. And I think the break actually helped us because we were getting we were playing out a lot. We found the places we want to play again, places that were cool, but we didn't think that we could get the energy or the draw because of where it was at or how small it was or whatever it may be. But, right now it's all about having fun, having a goddamn good time. And then that good time's going to evolve into see what we can put together that could maybe, make something of it. At this point in life, he's retired. I'm pretty much retired. Tommy, he's a musician. So we and the other guys in the band, we're all ready to do something cool. It's just let's get there, get around the right people, keep doing our boot camp, keep going out there and enjoy it. And plus, we're generating capital for the band.
Absolutely.
Because at one point we're going to need a lot of it to do some of the stuff we want to do.
Right. So we have a possible time frame on when we're going to come out with some of the original stuff yet?
Coming out, we'll start working here shortly. Coming out is probably going to be 3-4 months because we have a tall order in reference to the music. Is it going to make the sniff test?
Yeah. The target's probably going to be summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll probably be the target to start looking for some original material as we begin to develop, what ball of clay we currently have that we're working with. So,
I mean, if we want to do new metal, we got that dialed in, but that's not where we're going to be at.
I mean, and who knows? Maybe we'll find something we think will resonate well, and we'll throw a tester out there and see how the crowd responds to it. Might
like Lamb of God or something like that. No, I love that. But no, it's. I know I'm being a little evasive. I'm just trying to. It's just so many different styles that we're writing that it's hard to say where we're going to land, and that'll be up to us working with a producer, what we can come up with, and again, listening to it, getting up the next day and humming the song. That's the goal. If there's a solo in there, if it sounds like Pantera, great. If it's, crazy drum, whatever it may be, we just got to get to that point. We won't know until we do the sniff test. Sit down in the studio. And I'm surrounded myself with the best son of bitches in town that I know of. And again, all these bands can do it. I just happen to have a band of all the people. We all have that guitar player that can shred, that singer that's awesome. Just got to get them all in the same band. And that's what I did. I feel very fortunate. I don't want to say fortunate. Hell, I freaking started this thing. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I started calling around people just like I do putting this band, putting the shows together. And it's just not here. I'm talking in Vegas. He's going to Oklahoma. He's playing what's the name of that band?
Sacred Right, not Sacred Reich, Sacred Right.
Okay.
They originated out of Hawaii. They were really popular in the, I don't know if I want to call it thrash metal, progressive, hard rock kind of thing genre. During the 80s, did some touring. Anyway, I played a couple festivals or a few shows with them before. Did a festival in Germany. I think I might have mentioned that before, and when I was on your podcast before. So this weekend coming up, I'm doing a fly date with them in Oklahoma.
Okay.
Fly date. He's special.
Right. Yeah. Although I'm not flying. I call it a fly date, but I'm actually driving out there. So, yeah, I'll be on the road for 15 hours to get to the venue. But but I'll be out there this weekend performing with them doing that. And
we're at in Oklahoma.
Tulsa.
In Tulsa? Okay.
Yeah, the event is called 2 Minutes to Tulsa. There's a number of, mid-level national hard rock and metal bands from, the 80s and 90s and so that this has been put together for some time now. And I guess so.
We had to cancel shows so he could make his prior engagement.
Yeah, that was one that'd been on the books since October, before I even knew you guys. So,
yeah. But
it was just
badass like this. He's flying all over, playing in Europe. Here I am playing in my garage. I mean, what the hell?
When you're good, you're good.
Yeah.
I just try to do my job as best I can and make the audience and the other band members happy.
Well, and when you make the right friends, then you get other opportunities. So it works.
Well, it's kind of funny. I hear people, it's who you know, and I agree. I agree with that quite a bit.
Big time.
It's also who knows you.
Yeah. Who knows you? One, you got to earn their respect. And two, my main thing with all the people I'm dealing with, my time and my money I can get back. My word and handshake I can't. In every relationship I have, and I feel really good about this. I spent a whole lifetime doing this. When I call somebody up, it's not like, hey, what do you want now, Dave? It's like, Dave, what are you doing? What do you got going on? And, if you have those relationships where you always leave a little bit more on the table than I take, I'm respectful. And trust me, there's been times we played out with some of these club owners, this guy charging me 25% because my wife washed the check. And so he wants to charge me $250 to rewrite me a check. So I won't say who that is. But anyway, some people that's probably the most I've ever said about it. But, some people, we had people cut us short on stuff. And, what I do is I just smile and I stick it in my hip pocket. They'll want us back. And when they do, I just make sure I got on a better situation so we don't have the problems. Every band experiences is we've had bad shows and we've had great ones. Though our bad show is pretty damn good. But, sometimes we mess parts just like everyone else, and we're hammering it through. My poor wife has heard me do the same riffs over and over. I can imagine what your wife, she's a saint. She had a halo over her head when I met her.
She puts on noise-canceling headphones and listens to audiobooks and lets me do my thing.
Jeez.
Because I make a hell of a lot of noise.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. My wife said, why do you have to play it so loud? Because it's metal, dude. Yeah. It's metal, But I will tell you, I love going out. I go out every once in a while and see all the bands, and I see a lot of talent. I see some good stuff. The only thing I can tell all those guys, not that I'm better than them, it's just, Jesus Christ, they're doing good. They're doing great. Get a sound man. Don't just sound like a garage band going in there. The 6 bands at a time, 15 minutes of setup between. We let guys that open for us. You ever notice they use our drums?
Yep.
Our back line?
Your whole back line.
Because why?
It's faster.
Well, it's already set up with it's already set up with a sound man that knows what it should sound
like. What it's doing, because
he can adjust.
That opening band is just as important as we are. In the 80s, everybody was trying to screw the opening band. It was like, that's what it was like here in town. Not me. I want them. We are a product. I want that opening band sound like Second Coming of Christ. And then we come up there, there's not a lot of, we've already pretty much they have a sound check, we have a sound check, they play, that's a whole sound check, and then we get on stage, and it's money. It goes like this.
Right.
Looks good, and act like a pro.
Hot knife through butter.
Yep.
Yep.
We set the bar real high for ourselves, and we create some very steep expectations from ourselves and each other.
That's not the pussy I want to draw.
No, me either, but she's pretty cool.
Yeah.
If she shows her face.
Yeah.
She peeked out there for a little bit.
We do set the bar high, and I got to tell you, it's, for me, 32 years off and starting to play again a couple years ago. It's been a freaking learning curve to learn what I did back then. what was I doing that made me, because I'm not near the guitar player I was back then, and I have the abilities. It's just been acclimating to, like, I get this modeler. I mean, you have to be a computer engineer to, or a programmer to know how to use this thing. I mean, back then we had a pedal, had a switch, 2 knobs.
Yep.
This thing has got several different screens. You're going through it. And, oh, by the way, do you want to change the diodes in your freaking foot pedal? I mean, and I had this one. I'd never broken so many strings in my entire life. And when I say strings, it's not the high ones. We're talking the thick ones on top. I was breaking the top 3 strings, at least 2 a show. I couldn't keep strings on I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And then, of course, John Acklin, being a producer, he was at our show, and he's like, Dave, you're gripping that guitar. I'm like, and I thought, I don't know, what was it? Why am I doing it? So I put thicker strings on. Then I had my guitar rig over at the practice, and I started playing on a little practice amp I have. I'm like, oh my God. Come to find out, it had input that had a lot of gate and compressor, which chokes up your sound. And here I'm plucking really hard to try to get that beef out of it. And I was breaking strings. Well, now I've got 2 years of gripping it like an axe handle, and I'm in there with a metronome, which I haven't worked. I'm like, oh, the metronomes helps me keep timing.
That's right. That's right. I'm
I'm in there
going to stay on you about that.
Focusing, running up and down my neck, trying to lighten my grip. But you know what? I love it. I don't watch TV. My wife watches reality shows.
Yeah.
So I've got that room. I go back in there 2-4 hours and sit back there and just play. Gives me purpose, something to do.
My wife barely knows what this room looks like. And when I go out there and talk about anything that's going to go on in here, she just rolls her eyes. I'm like, okay.
Well, honestly, it kind of looks like a sex dungeon or something. No, I'm joking.
I guess it could.
Just play that one. Play the Led Zeppelin album. Remember from
Oh my God.
Original?
Yeah,
Wow.
last times, yeah.
Oh, man. So, yeah. Bike Week. That's going to be a blast.
Yep, we got Bike Week. There's pretty much at least one event that we're playing every month through October. I don't think there's a single month.
Well,
we don't have at least one weekend.
We play
One date booked.
425, 426 in April at the Roadhouse again, which...
Yeah, front end of April, back end of April. I believe we have something in the end of May.
I got them right here.
There you go.
So 425 and 426, and like Band of Fools, Burnt Bridges, couple of the good finds. There's another group called Love You By, and these guys, they blew us off stage. They were good, but they weren't playing metal. They were playing that high energy, college music.
Okay.
Dude, those guys were awesome. But anybody wants to reach out, I'm on Facebook, David Stone or Davey, Davie Stone. My phone number's on there and about. I like bringing other bands in, and help them out. They come in, they do an hour show. They're going to be going through the huge PA. It's a concert. They're going to be doing that, but using our back line. They just bring a snare and pedals or whatever it is, which, by the way, his snare and kick sound, right? He's got, how many
Chef's
snares
kiss.
you got? Like 5 or something?
Yeah, 5 or 6,
Yeah,
depending on what we have. But
yeah.
we have one in particular dialed in for the live shows that really works well.
So I got 425 and 426 on the main stage at the Roadhouse on a Friday and Saturday night at night. I haven't booked it yet with bands because I want to see after I had this thing with you, who would be interested. So my phone number's there. I'll say right now, 602-430-5336. 425, 426. We play 523. We're teaming up with the Rage Against the Machine band. We're finding out we're getting with these tribute bands.
Yep.
Rage Against the Machine and a Green Day.
Oh, that's
Over
right, the Green Day.
Cactus
tribute,
Jacks.
Yeah, Cactus Jacks. That'll be fun.
Yep. And then 44, the 30. So the other one is 523, May 23rd. May 31st, 44 with Higher Creed. Then we're taking another month off because we might be recording. And 627 at the 44 with Higher Creed again because we're going to the next level. Like the lighting, it's gonna be like in the video there with smoke and all that. We're gonna be we're doing stage extensions, all that. We're gonna be doing shows with them. Kimmy's 620, 725, 620, 725. First one's at Greenway, next one's at Tatum. Kimmy wanted to book us. She gave me 18 dates. I'm like, yeah, we're not playing that much, but we
Oh my God.
we have so much fun. Doing a deal at Nile. Never been in a Nile. Playing on 726. I've got this group called The Dirt. These guys are have you heard of them?
I've heard of them, yes.
Check the videos out. They're doing 80s stuff, but you know, the one thing about 80s, all the big harmonies, right?
Right.
And they'll do they do everything from the 80s, but I remember seeing them do a Bon Jovi. I'm like, okay, let's hear the harmonies. Nailed it.
Nice.
Those guys are playing along with Iron Priestess. And then it looks like the rest, 829, 10-3, 10-4. I haven't booked anymore. I just kind of held up to see what we're going to do for the recording studio and stuff like that. And then look at the other gigs outside of town, but we just got to make sure we get ourselves nailed down and get recording in the studio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. Yeah, but still, we have at least one weekend every month through October that we're doing.
Yeah.
At least one.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Cool. Well, I want to thank you for hitting me up and coming and joining me. And you caught up to, well, you both have caught up with Tommy with 2 visits.
Uh-huh.
Now, had Tommy been here, it'd have been his third, and he had been solo third. So,
Oh, boy.
but he missed out.
Yeah.
But you got to get the other 2 in here somehow. Maybe try to rope around their ankles and just drag them in. Next time.
I think I can get Anthony in. Scotty's a little shy. I'm like, you want to come? No, I'm like, all right.
Okay, tell Scotty I'm going to come drag him in then.
Good.
There you go.
Good.
Yep.
Well, he's good.
Got enough room on the couch.
Oh,
Well,
Scotty's
I don't
been in the scene since the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That is, Scotty's really cool. I enjoy hanging out
Wonderful person.
with you guys before the shows and listening to the other bands. It's really cool.
Mhm.
And
know. Great.
yeah, look forward to more and can't wait to hear some of the original stuff. And I'm chomping at the bit. So, because and again, nothing against anybody that does covers, because if you do it the way you guys do it, it puts people out there. They're on the dance floor. They're having a blast, having fun. But I'm more about original stuff because this is the independent side of the house.
Yeah.
With what I do, and this is the stuff that nobody else knows of, unless you listen to my show or go to local venues and go to the bars and see it. So that's why I always chomp at the bit for original stuff.
Well, yeah. Hey,
Well,
us too.
We're targeting summer right now, so that's not
I know
as
you
far
are.
as you think. So
So if you're targeting summer,
keep
we
the
just can't
antenna
wait.
up. We're intending on getting something out there sooner rather than later.
It definitely some pressure. I mean, like I said, I've been blessed. I play with some monsters,
Yes.
and it's funny I am the second. It's kind of funny. I never thought about it. Never been a second guitar player, but in reality, Tommy and I we pretty much do the same amount of solos.
Okay.
Except
Cool.
he goes full
What-
tard.
Yeah, he
on-
goes full Godzilla.
He's over there just, but it does put some stress. But again, surround myself around the best people, and that's why we're here. And I want to thank you again for everything you do for the community. It's an honor to come over and see you and watch you grow. And that's why I've reached out to you to see what I can do to help you with stuff. And the only offering I have is we got to get you over there with John. You'll love the guy. He's a wonderful person, great sense of humor. But that studio, you walk in there and it's like, just called Platinum Underground. Google it and look it up on the web, and
I have. It's very, very intriguing from the outside.
Oh, it's
outside looking in. So I can only imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to. I don't know if it shows it on the website, but it's got like a band guest quarters.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, it's got one of those like $5,000 toilets that wipes your ass and blows hot water and all that. It's all done white and really cool modern look. Pool tables, a bedroom with beautiful furniture. I mean, full kitchen and all that stuff. It looks like a multi-million-dollar house on the inside of this room. And you go in there, and there's a 1959 Les Paul leaning against the wall. You're like, which is a collector's guitar.
Well, yeah.
And a gold top on top of it. But no, it's man, John, just awesome. So we got to get you over there.
Awesome. Looking forward to it, for damn sure. Well, I want to thank you again, and again, anytime. All you got to do, just, hey Yeti, we want to come over. Tell me when. We'll figure out a date.
That's right.
And that goes for anybody.
End up your most frequent guests. How's
and
that?
all those bands that we've talked about that haven't been in here yet. I'm still working on trying to get them in here. So
that's all right. Keep plugging away. That's how we all grow, is help each other out.
I know them. I can get them in here.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining the Yeti Radio in the Backstage Lounge with Menace Mary. And check them out Bike Week up at the Roadhouse in Cave Creek, Arizona. And have a wonderful evening.
The Yeti Radio, powered by DavidLeeImaging.com. Welcome to the Backstage Lounge on the YetiRadio.com.
Story. Now, the rest of the story.
So full of life.
The Yeti.
So full of energy.
And power!
The Yeti.
Unregulated radio would result in programming of the lowest common denominator, the rule of the mob.
The Yeti.